Hey everybody, I think we're live now. Okay, time to get this chat going. How is everybody doing? I'm a little bit better. Forgive me if I look sick, it's because I am. Where do we got our stream here? It should show up. Come on, Google. There we go. How's everyone doing? I can't see the chat yet. Give me a second. Just got to get the window open. For some reason, Google doesn't let you have this chat open before it starts. That would be convenient, so I don't have to figure this all out during the live stream. Apple Toaster, Will Moody Vlogs, Tricks Jags, Alexander Morgan is in the bath. Oh, great. Talon Breen, Ryan. Hey, Hannah. Brian, Jeffer. How's everybody doing? I've got some weird-looking smoothie stuff to help me taste, yeah, I don't know, not taste better. Don't eat me, but it's supposed to make me feel better. Okay. Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about, but I'm going to let everyone get in the chat here first. I'm going to make sure we have a dedicated super chat window so that all these super chatters get recognized. And I've got the pop-out chat on my MacBook here. Yeah, I'm a little sick. I'm feeling a little better. Feeling a little better from the last live stream. It's getting better, but it's not completely gone. Yeah, my real name is Andrew Erickson, for those asking. I see that. I just got AT&T fiber and it's so fast. Lucky! I wish I could have fiber. They don't have that out here. They don't have that in Orville. No, I'm still using Verizon Unlimited, which has been working okay. I can upload stuff. Wish I had a job so I can super chat. Yeah, I know what you mean. Hello, everyone. Is the MacBook Pro 2013 worth it? Is it worth it? Asks Pokemania, or just Pokemania. No, it's not. Don't get the 2013 MacBook Pro. Buy the new one. Save your money. Don't buy a cheap one. This is really too mucusy. I can just drink this. I don't need the spoon. He doesn't hate Android, it's just that it's inferior. Yes, that is correct. Android is not a terrible operating system, it is just the worst. It's still pretty good. I'm just saying there's not much it's better than. Maybe Linux. I haven't tried Linux. It's too all over the place. It's too complicated. Andrew, is the iPad Air going to be receiving all new split screen features? iOS 11, I'm not sure. I think the iPad Air 2 is going to get iOS 11, but I'm not sure about the Air 1. I don't have an iPad Air anymore. And for Gallus Tech, for those asking who want to super chat from iOS, you can. You just have to use Safari. You got to go to YouTube using the Safari app, and it lets you super chat. So there is a way to do it. I've done it before. What are your thoughts on the Galaxy S8? That's another video I still need to make. In the last 3 days that I'm here. I'm going to be leaving again, which I'll talk more about in a second. Let me drop this over here. There's black pods. Keep those around if I need to talk about them. Okay. What was that question again? The thoughts on the Galaxy S8 are the fact that the first impressions of the S8 are so good, and I think that's why it sells super well. It looks beautiful. There's no denying that. Excuse me. I think that physically and aesthetically, you could even argue that the S8 is a better looking phone. But again, it's just personal preference. Just because the bezels are so thin, the display goes so edge to edge. It's so beautiful. But the problem with it is once you get used to that display size, once you're accustomed to the fact that the display goes edge to edge, you realize that it's still just Android, and that's the biggest fault of all of Samsung's phones, is that they're running this operating system that doesn't get new updates. Like Apple is all getting iOS 11, the betas right now, and it's just completely reinventing our phones. We're getting all these more options, we're getting beautiful new UI changes, and we're getting performance enhancements, storage efficiency so that we can save more space. All that added is one of the great things we love about our Apple products, is that years down the line our phones get redesigned with the operating system, and I think that's the big weakness of Android, is that so much of it is customizable and so much of it you can tinker with that nothing about it is truly unique, and there's never really those big major refreshes that the iOS users get. And I overall just think Android is such a messy system because people, you know, in my comments are always saying, what am I trying to say here? People in my comments are always saying that Android can do this and it can do that, but or I should stop referring to Android on the Galaxy S8 because what Samsung's version of Android is not the same as the Pixel's version. So you shouldn't even call it Android. Or the OnePlus 5 runs Oxygen OS, but it's connected to the Play Store. So it's this really abstract bushel of operating systems that are not very conform, and that means when you hand your phone to someone else, they're not going to know what the difference is because OnePlus 5 designs it different from Pixel and designs it different from Samsung. And you've got the Google Assistant, but then you've got Bixby, which isn't ready yet, but it's kind of ready because it's like a Google Now page, and it's just, nothing about it is conform, like unified, and I think that makes it really hard to love. You can get used to Android, as I have. I've used several Android phones in the past, but you can never really love it. You can never be like, this is what I want. That's exactly right. You can just kind of get used to it. Anyway, let me get more of this. Does iOS 11 public beta run better on the iPad than on the iPhone 7 Plus? I don't know yet because there's a really dumb feature that I don't understand. So on iOS, you cannot upgrade your operating system using cellular data, which is dumb because we have unlimited plans now, so I don't understand why I can't download the new public beta on my iPhone, but I can download it on my iPad that is hotspotting my iPhone. It's a really dumb rule, and I wish they would fix that so that I could update. But since I don't have good Wi-Fi, I have to travel to someone else's house in order to update my phone to public beta. So I have upgraded my iPad, which is over there, to the public beta, but I have not updated my phone yet. My phone is still on the developer beta, so it's just weird. I don't know why it works that way. Christian Abak says, what do you prefer to write an essay on? Your new iPad Pro or your MacBook Pro? I prefer the iPad Pro if I'm typing something because I think that's a lot more optimized. I can do the multitasking on an iPad is so much more fluid than it is on a Mac when you just kind of have to resize all your windows and kind of guess your way through it. This is really great for when you need to be very specific and professional about your editing, the work you're getting done. And I think writing an essay is so very, very basic that it's not like required that you do it on a physical keyboard. And I think it's good practice for everyone to start getting used to virtual keyboards because I think that's what we're all going to move towards. I think one of the biggest changes we're going to see in the MacBook lineup is probably that switch to a full touchscreen keyboard instead of mechanical keys. I don't have a smart keyboard, no. I prefer the virtual keys because everyone says how you can't type as fast or that's not as good. When I really think that given these new iOS options where you can swipe down on the keys and it'll activate different characters, that's been really great. I love that. So I'm getting used to that very much so, and I think that people can be just as fast on a virtual keyboard. They're just not used to it, so they don't want to adapt the way they type. 7 Durka Durka donated $100 in Super Chat. My goodness, thank you. Says, I'm back with another 100 money towards you buying new technology to review. Love your vids, so keep them up, man. Thank you very much. That guy's got a lot of money. Okay. Would you still use an iPhone 5? Would you still use an iPhone 5? Okay, Clone Productions, it makes sense because he's a clone, so he brought it 5. No, I would not. There's no reason to. I've got 2 here. I don't want them. I mean, I'd keep them to collect because, you know, the Apple sheep, I got to collect the old memorabilia. But no, I would not keep it. I want to use iOS 11 public beta. However, I only have my 6S Plus. Should I wait or is it stable enough to use right now? I've been using it and I think it's fine. I think all the people saying that it's too buggy to use and it's annoying is a little overkill. There's definitely bugs you'll run into, but I don't think they're major. I think the new features you get with it is worth it. But that's with the public beta. I think the beta 1 for the developers was really messed up. There were quite a few excuse me. There was quite a few annoying problems in that I don't think the new features were worth it because they're not ironed out yet. There's still a lot of big features that I think they've promised that aren't coming yet. Like, I'm really excited for all your messages to be stored in iCloud so that you don't have to store all of your messages on each device you're texting. But that's still not available, even though it's an option in the messages. It's grayed out, and I'm excited for that to be officially turned on. And the other thing is that iCloud Drive app, which I did that, not an iCloud Drive, but the Files app that I made a video about explaining why that doesn't feel like a true file explorer. It just feels like an over-glorified iCloud Drive app, but either way. Everything's Samsung process, but with a couple of years, like all Androids, look the same optimizations, and they all get 5 years of updates. I'm not sure who you're trying to fight for there. But what I'm getting at is that Android doesn't change very much. And it doesn't change drastically because so much of it is customizable. There's not much about it that is like... You can't refresh all of Android because it has to fit so many different phones. There's like thousands of different hardware developers for Android, so it doesn't... There's not much you can drastically change that everyone will notice. It's like, ooh, the background's white. Great. Are you hyped for the iPod Shuffle 7th gen? Asks Knox. Abso-freaking-lutely! iPod Shuffle's getting a refresh! No, I'm not. Can you talk about the new iPhone 8 edition? I would if there was new news. And maybe this is a good segue. See, I only report on what I'm reading about or what I want to talk about, and there's not much I can talk about with the new iPhones. But, because I've kind of beat that horse to death. Talked about that for like 2 weeks straight. I'm going to be gone again. Yes, I'm very sorry. I'm not in control of this, but I'm going to be in San Diego on a family reunion from July 1st to, I think, July 8th. We're still not entirely sure, but I'm going to be gone for a long time. However, do not fret, because I've been working really hard, and I actually hired, I don't know if you're watching this, but I've hired, I'll keep him nameless because I don't know if he wants me to shout him out, but I've hired an editor to help me out with this. Originally, I was going to edit 2 videos a day. One video would come out, you know, the day I made it, and another video would be scheduled to come out on the days that I was gone. And I've been doing this for over a week. But luckily, he approached me and said, hey, I'm an editor. I'd love to help you edit your videos. Maybe because he knew I wasn't doing a great job. So he offered to help. And now I am sending a lot of my footage his way. So he is going to help edit the videos that are going to come out while I'm out of town. So I'm pretty sure, I can't say this with complete confidence, but I'm fairly confident, complete, but fairly confident that the exact, every day that I'm gone, starting with July 1st, there will be a new video to come out. They're done, they're scheduled, but I do talk about the ugly looking iPhones that are leaking with the Touch ID on the back and they're all aluminum. I talk about that. I review the black pods more in depth. I talk about smart watch bands on the Apple Watch Series 3. I talk about the Google Pixel 2. So I'm going to be gone, but you're not going to be missing any content. You're still going to be getting stuff every day. Anyway, Chris Lee has a donation. Thank you for your $20 super chat. Says, I love your vids and the idea of being open to other companies. Keep up the good work. Also, I have an S7 Edge. Should I upgrade to the Note 8 or iPhone 8? I don't about phone size. Well, you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say iPhone 8. But, again, if you're a Samsung owner, you might be used to that, and it might not be worth switching to iOS. But personally, I think it's worth it. I think you should. I think that is a better ecosystem to be a part of. But you may be more invested in the Samsung ecosystem, so ditching your Galaxy might mean all of the other tech you have might not be as, I don't know, compatible, so it would be hard to switch to the iPhone 8. But either way, I think it's safe to say it's going to be a crazy year for smartphones. It's going to be a battle of the titans this winter where the iPhone 8 competes directly with the Note 8. I think those are going to be very capable smartphones with lots and lots of power, and I'm very excited to see what they come up with. You should have a P.O. box so we can send you things, like some stuff for make your videos green screen if you need, for example. Well, thank you, Alexander, for your super chat, Alexander Mogren. Funny you should say that. Actually, today I am going to be going to the U.S. Post Office in my town to submit my application. I went there last week and signed a what do you call it? I picked up an application. They needed a bunch of paperwork, and it turned out being a lot more expensive than I thought it would be. So it's going to be a little bit tricky. Still saving for the iMac Pro, the iPhone edition, the Series 3 Apple Watch, and the HomePod, and all of that, while also being able to have a P.O. box, because they're actually, the cheap one is tiny. Like, I can only hold, like, letters in one. So I'm trying to afford the biggest one. But after this live stream, actually, I'll be going down to the post office and trying to open one up. So thank you for asking that. It was quite on topic, because, yeah, that is going to be happening. The trick why I haven't been able to do it so long is because it required certain paperwork that I didn't think they would need. They'd need like proof of ID, and then they need proof of residence. And I don't have a lot of physical mail, so it was kind of hard to find one. But I've got one now, and then the last couple of days I've been working so hard on making sure that, you know, Tailosive Talks has content. I've been making Hello World, and I've also been working on making sure I get 2 tech videos done a day so that one comes out while I'm gone. So it's been very busy. But yes, the P.O. Box thing is definitely happening. And make sure you're following me on Twitter, because as soon as the P.O. Box is open and ready, I'm going to let everyone know. I encourage everyone to send their stuff. But I'm going to have to tell you my exact dimensions so that no one sends something that can't fit in the box. I think it's going to be not that big. I think it's going to be like 1 foot by 2 feet, about. So if you have a big, you know, power PC that you want to send me so that I can put it on the shelf, it probably won't work. You'll need to send, like, smaller stuff. But that's the biggest they got, sadly. So anyway, the Absolute Zero, or Xerox, thank you for your donation, says, I'd like to get a MacBook Pro to do some video editing semi-professional. Is there a MacBook Pro you'd recommend? Well, semi-professional, you're going to be fine with any MacBook Pro you buy, even the cheapest one. Semi-professional, that's kind of a broad term. Let's see. If someone was editing 1080p video, not 60 frames a second, if you're just editing HD video at 24 or 30 frames a second, I'd recommend a 12-inch MacBook. I think that's cheaper and it's lighter, and they just got an upgrade, so they're faster. And I think people underappreciate how capable of a laptop that is, because they look at the specs and they say it's inferior, it's a joke, when really that is the next generation MacBook Air. They just don't call it that. But regardless, I think that semi-professional, you know, 1080p, just regular editing, that would do great on. Just get the higher end version with 512 gigs of storage, and it's very portable, and I think that will shock you. A lot of people don't realize how portable that thing is. And if you do need those extra ports, you need those extra USB-C ports, I'm saying that any MacBook Pro is going to work great for a semi-professional. Let's see. You know, the cheapest one that doesn't have the touch bar, it has 2 ports, which I don't really like. Which it's still better than the 12-inch MacBooks just having 1, but I really wish they would put both one USB-C port on the other side, because I really love that on this MacBook I can charge it from either side. I find that far more convenient than using MagSafe. I know, because for those of you guys who are subscribed to Tailosive Talks, you may have noticed in the last Hello World, I have this little treat here. It's a MacBook Air. I don't know. It's a long story how I ended up with this, but I want to make a video about it. So you might expect that in the next couple days. But I was testing it just to see what it was capable of, not to replace anything. But it, of course, has MagSafe, but it's only on one side. And I find it really annoying that I can't charge it from the other side, because more often I'm trying to plug it in and I go, oh, I can't plug it in there, so I have to turn it around, charge it on that side. But I want to talk about this one a little bit, just to be like, why does this still exist? This is not brand new. Don't worry about that. It was a trade, actually. I was done with the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. I used it for 2 years. I got the 10.5-inch now. I love it. The frame rate on it is amazing. And I was never really ever using the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. It's laggier, slower, cameras aren't as good. Now it feels too bulky. It feels redundant having that next to my 15-inch MacBook Pro. So I filmed it in the comparison video with the 10.5-inch, and after that, it just kind of sat on my nightstand and did nothing. And I was like, this is wasteful. So I said, I'll probably sell it. I'll sell it used, though, obviously, because it's old and new ones just came out. So I wasn't going to sell it for very much. And a guy locally who didn't live too far away from my town, also a tech journalist, I don't know who he wrote for. I didn't get to know him very well. He was from Turkey. But he was looking to get a new one, so we traded MacBook Air for a 12.9-inch iPad Pro, which I figured I've never owned one, and people keep asking about it. You know, like, will they refresh the MacBook Air? And I keep telling them, no, they shouldn't. So I thought it'd be great to actually do a video explaining why I don't understand why this is still around. So I was going to put a few games on it with Steam to see how terrible or how surprisingly they run. I put Final Cut Pro on here to see how it edits. Something so old, but, you know, still has a SD card slot, still has Thunderbolt on the side, still's got classic USB ports, still has a headphone jack. But I thought it would be an interesting case study, and I'll probably sell this after I'm done talking about it. So that's why that's there. Yeah, nobody buys the MacBook Air to play games or edit, but can you? Is the better question. Anyway, I actually edit 1080p 60 frames a second video daily on my 12-inch via Final Cut. I also do Photoshop work and a bit of AutoCAD for hardware tool. It's pretty capable. Thank you, Haste. That's a good point. I want to keep in mind that people underappreciate how powerful that 12-inch MacBook is. They think it can't do anything, but it can. It can do some stuff. Kind of weird question, but can you download an MP3 file on your iPad and use it at background music in an iMovie? Or how would you download good background music? Well, Neamsterdam, this reminds me to bring up the LumaFusion app, which I talked about yesterday. That is a great program, and similar to iMovie, you can download MP3 files as long as they're in a cloud service. However, LumaFusion actually has, and I forgot to mention this, LumaFusion has built-in royalty-free tracks. So there's actually music they have in there that is royalty-free, so anyone can use it, that you can add into your tracks. And they have a lot, and I probably should have talked about that. I didn't. But that's another great perk about LumaFusion. It is more money than iMovie, but you get a lot more out of it, and I promise you it's worth it. But in iMovie, I think you can download files from iCloud Drive. So, and this is a little complicated, but I know how to do it because I've done it before. Before this channel was very big, I used to run this entire channel on an iPad Pro. And on that, I would, how would I do it? I'd use the Puffin browser. The Puffin browser is extremely helpful because it's a desktop mimicker. You could download audio files off of YouTube, you know, by using Clip Converter or KeepVid. You could download an audio file from YouTube, add it to iCloud Drive, and then within iMovie, you could download it from iCloud Drive. I've done it before, so the answer is yes, but you have to use a couple of tricks, like Puffin browser, and you have to download it directly from iCloud Drive. Anyway, got a super chatter who says, Uchiha Betrayer 2? So I have a 2012 MacBook Pro and was thinking of upgrading my RAM to increase the amount of years out of it instead of getting a new one. Thoughts? So of course this is your own money, and this is a good question because a lot of people want to do this. But I've looked into this in the past as well because I had a 2012 iMac that I used for years and years, and it still runs today. And I also wanted to upgrade the RAM in it because it was acting a little slow. Spent the money on the RAM, upgraded it. I personally don't think it's worth it, to be honest, because the money you spend on that RAM really doesn't change the fact that your processor is still dated and the hardware surrounding the RAM isn't actually going to be upgraded. I think the RAM is a very short term and also just very one functional, like, yeah, now you can run multiple apps better, but at the end of the day, you're still working with older hardware. As hardware gets older, it gets slower. That's just a fact, sadly. I'm going to recommend that you don't buy new RAM. You just save that money and work on your next upgrade, your next MacBook buy, which may be a little bit further down the road, but ultimately I think upgrading the RAM yourself is going to slow you down because the inevitable thing is upgrading the RAM isn't going to make it last terribly longer. It will, but you're going to run into more problems that can't be fixed, like trying to replace the processor, which I wouldn't recommend trying. I know there's crazy people out there who will, but oh, it's disgusting. Ugh. I don't know what type this is, but my mom makes it. She says it's good for me, but oh goodness, that's atrocious. How about if someone donates 30 in Super Chat, I will chug this. That would be cringy. All right. I advised my sister to get the 12-inch MacBook, but she doesn't think she would like the size. She wants the regular size screen. What is the regular size? Because the 12-inch MacBook is still bigger than a MacBook Air, because MacBook Air is 11.5-inch. She wants a regular size. So does she mean like 13-inch or 15-inch probably? Listen, obviously, to test it out, you should totally go to like a Best Buy or an Apple store to see if you do like the size, because I do think it is a perfect size. The keyboard goes right to the edges of the unibody. It's perfect. Again, all that thing needs is a touch bar and a fingerprint reader. That'd be so great. It is kind of sucked that they don't have that on the 12-inch MacBook. I wish they would add that. Maybe they'll do that later in the year, because I knew that there were big Mac announcements coming later, like the iMac Pro, but I didn't realize they were going to announce that so early at WWDC. Very excited for that. Gonna keep saving for it. iPod Shuffle rumors and leaks, or I will riot. Andrew, stop ignoring me. I didn't ignore you. I read your comment. There's no iPod Shuffle leaks or rumors. That was a joke. Can you check your weather app, please? Because I seem to have 2 sunrises. Oh, well, maybe it's a Star Wars thing. It's a Star Wars joke. It's like Tatooine. Why do people prefer Macs over Windows computers? There's a lot of reasons, Chad Billy. It's definitely not specs, though, because we all know that Windows gives you the best specs for your buck. But the main reason is, for me at least, I've tried both. I used an iMac and Macs my whole life, and then around 2012, 2013, I wanted something with a bit more power, so I got a custom-built gaming PC. I used it for a year. It was full of bugs. It was full of laggy things, and it became an inconsistent experience where, like, when I sit down at my computer and I need to work, I want the applications to just open when I click on them. You don't think that's too much to ask, but it is with a Windows computer, because it's an inconsistent experience. Sometimes you get computers that work great, and sometimes you get weird ones that are full of problems. And I put Windows 10 on it. That was probably one of the first biggest mistakes, is because that ruined everything. Now I couldn't open applications. Certain games on Steam would not run. And overall, I found myself just going back to my Mac all the time, because I could hit the program on there and it would open. And that's what I need out of a computer, is for it to work. And I wasn't getting that with a PC. With a PC, like, sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't, sometimes it'd be great, and sometimes it would be slow. And I hated the Windows updates. Those are through the roof. There's like 50 of them a day. I think Macs are much more friendly when it comes to, hey, by the way, you should update this. It's just not, it's not a big deal. But anyway, that's why I'm not interested in Windows PCs, is because they're not as consistent. And I think it's because the hardware and software are not optimized for each other, and they're not part of a greater ecosystem, similar to Android. You know, they're great on their own in certain aspects, but the way they interact with other devices is not as fluid. Did you buy the $300 Final Cut Pro? No, I got that when I was a student, which you could get a whole bunch of programs for, I think, $200. I think there's a student bundle that's like Final Cut Pro, Motion, Compressor, Backstage, Logic Pro. You could get all of that for like $200 for a certain bundle. That's what I got. Do you think Apple will update all their products to glass to match the new iPhone coming this year? I doubt that, because they don't show any interest in making glossy Macs, whether it be laptops or desktops, or glossy iPads. I think they would have made a jet black iPad if they wanted one. But it would be nice if they started incorporating glass into the design, so that we could have wireless charging on everything. You know, I'd love to wirelessly charge the iPad, the MacBook, the trackpads that we use on our iMacs. Like, you could put your Magic Keyboard on the dock and it would wirelessly charge it. I thought that is a wonderful idea that they're not going to do, but Not glass for design, for the sake of design, but more like glass so that we could have wirelessly charging. Andrew, I have a MacBook Pro which has a display issue, and Apple Care said they will take 7 days for repair in India. How much long does it take to repair in America? I'm waiting for your reply. Okay, I don't know because I've never gotten anything repaired by Apple before, but I'm sorry about that. That sucks. 7 days to repair, but that's, you know, honestly, that doesn't sound about right. I've heard of people who had problems before with their devices, and I'm not sure how long it takes here, but I'm going to guess it's about the same. Absolute Zero, again, says thoughts on Apple Motion versus After Effects. I've not messed around with Apple Motion very much, so I'm sorry if my insight is not very in-depth, but my guess is that it's similar to Final Cut, as in it's probably a bit easier to learn. However, I've taught myself After Effects the past 3 years, and I've gotten very fluent at it to where I know what I'm doing, so that's why usually when I'm designing things like the Patreon outro at the end of my videos, I will use After Effects for that just because I know what I'm doing. Haven't had much time to mess around with Motion, but I'm guessing that it's easier but doesn't provide as many options because that's the difference between Final Cut and Premiere. So I'm guessing that's the difference. But Apple Motion, I think... well, it's kind of complicated because Adobe applications you get in their Creative Cloud subscription service where you have to pay monthly for. And at Apple's programs you can pay for up front, get them once, you have them forever. So I would say Apple Motion is technically cheaper because you buy it once, it's $50, and then you have it for life. Whereas Adobe's going to make you pay for that for months and months and months, every month that you use it. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I haven't reviewed Apple Motion as in depth as I'd like to. So for now, I'm gonna stick with After Effects. But what are these money tags at the top of comments? Those are super chats. That means people are donating. What do you think the iPhone will be called? Why do you think the iPhone 8 will be called the iPhone Edition? Okay, School News. Good question. Here's why I think it will. Well, first of all, it's the only actual leak of a name we've heard. I think it was Ming Chi. I'm not sure who it was, but someone said it would be called the iPhone Edition, and there's never been anyone else who's been in the behind the scenes or in the industry who has said it would be called the iPhone 8. We just assumed that. But I think it will be called Edition because it's a special side iPhone, because we're still getting 3 iPhones this year. We're getting the 7S's, which are going to look very similar to the iPhone 7s we have now, but of course there will be spec improvements, perhaps wireless charging, and I think they will be called the 7S because design-wise they look so much like the 7, but they're a little bit better, so we give them the S name. That's how Apple's naming scheme with iPhones has been. 4, 4S, 5, 5S, 6, 6S. Makes sense that they would keep that around. But again, we're all hearing about this very special iPhone with the edge-to-edge display, with the OLED, with the removal of the physical home button, all that. I think that is going to be a separate iPhone that's going to be a one-of-a-kind, like, similar to the Apple Watch. It's an edition. It's going to have that stainless steel bracket. It kind of breaks off from the iPhone lineup a little bit because this is the way things have been going. So we have 7, 7S, but because this iPhone is special to celebrate the anniversary of the iPhone, this one will be called the Edition, and then next year we will have the actual iPhone 8. And that'll be 2 iPhones that mimic the design of the Edition, except they'll be a little bit faster. Maybe they'll remove even more bezels. That little earpiece bracket at the top will be more reduced. That won't take up as much space. And it'll come in 2 sizes. One will be like 5.2-inch display. One will come in 6.4 or something big. It'll be like having a 7 and a 7 Plus. So this will be 8 and 8 Plus. What will you do if your black AirPods experience the same problem as your old ones, where one earbud was quieter than the other? Asks Yi Hirasawa, and thank you for your donation. I'm worried about that. That would suck, actually. I'm really worried that my black pods would, one of them, if they have the same problem as my last pair, if I try to replace them, I don't even know if Apple would send me one, because I'm pretty sure the black paint would void the warranty, and they wouldn't be okay with that. So sadly, if that happens, I won't get a good functional pair of AirPods until iPhone Edition is shipped out, and hopefully it'll come with that. Or I'll have to buy a whole new pair, which would be awful. So I'm really just hoping that doesn't happen. I've been reading around and I haven't heard that AirPod, one of them dying and being quieter than the other. That isn't a common problem, so I think I was one of the exceptions. I was one of the first people to buy them, so I was probably one of the first assembled AirPods, so maybe they hadn't had all the kinks fixed yet. I haven't heard that problem very common among anyone else, so hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll see. Would a smart connector ever come to future iPhones? Yeah, they keep rumoring about that. They keep seeing leaked ones with smart connectors, but then we find out they don't have them. I think Apple has intentions of adding that so that you could have smart cases that expand your battery or your storage or add better cameras. But I don't know. I haven't seen any for the leaks this year, so I guess not. But they should. I like that idea of adding cases to the iPhone that actually add more functional purposes, and they don't have to plug in to the Lightning port, so they don't have to make the phone itself so much larger. Plus, I think Apple would be interested in that for like health kit stuff, so that you can have doctor materials, you know, the stethoscope. I don't know the vocabulary. That's probably something weird. How they could measure your heart rate or measure your ears or look inside and look in your mouth with, how do you call it, special doctor equipment when you go in there. And it could attach to the iPhone a lot more easier that way. I hope they do. Please talk about your thoughts on the iPod Touch. It's dead. It's going to be discontinued any second. I don't know why it's still around. The iPhone SE is still a better buy than the iPod Touch 7th gen. So there's no reason you should be buying an iPod Touch. No, the iPhone edition is not a trap. I don't know why it would be. It's a lot of money. That's for sure. But I think it's because you're getting a lot out of it. And Apple's realizing that they do better when they make specialized versions of products that are more expensive but better overall. Yeah, the iPhone edition is gonna be the phone of the year. Yeah, someone donated a lot. Thoughts about the Amazon Echo show rivaling the Apple HomePod. Apple says sound quality is important for them, but the Echo Show has 2 Dolby speakers. Can you answer my question, please? Yes, Zohar Sverdlov. Yes, I can. Apple is prioritizing sound because they're realizing that they have a digital assistant that is just within all of their products already, so they don't need to make that a priority in yet another device. Because unlike Amazon, Apple has Siri in your watches, your phones, your iPads, your Macs, your TVs. They don't need another place for Siri. They've got enough places for Siri. What Apple is trying to specialize is in sound quality, and I do predict the HomePod is going to sound better than the Echo. The Echo Show can only blast its speakers in one direction. I'm sure it's a good speaker, but I'm just anticipating that the HomePod is still going to sound better. What is your favorite feature that is rumored to be in the iPhone 8? Please answer. I've talked about this before, but honestly, edge-to-edge display looks cool, but we're going to get used to it. I know I talk about the iPhone edition a lot on this channel, or at least I used to, but that's because there's so much hype around it. Everyone watches those videos. That's why I talk about it so much. If you want my personal opinion on the matter, it's going to disappoint you. It is, because the hype is too high right now. There's no way it can live up to it. For me, it will, because my expectations are pretty low. I'm not expecting much out of it. I'm just expecting slightly better phone. But because people don't look at phones with... they don't look at actual changes that are brought to a phone. They look at what's physically different. Because everyone hated on the iPhone 7 because it looked a lot like a 6. Even though I thought that was a great upgrade. I thought it was one of the best iPhone refreshes Apple ever did. And yet everyone hates it. And, oh, they're out of ideas. Or Steve Jobs would hate this thing. And the iPhone edition is what everyone wants to be the next big thing. But we already saw, you know, Venya Geskin uploaded that video of the dummy iPhone 8. When he uploaded that, we saw all the hate. There was nothing but dislikes. All the comments were saying how terrible it was. That's exactly what the release of the iPhone edition is going to be like. Everyone's going to hate it. Everyone's going to say, oh, I hate the vertical camera. That looks ugly. Oh, that visor on the top, it's stupid. It looks like a Galaxy phone. I'm going to have to defend it all over again. Even though there's hype around it, I'm sure it'll be hated upon. They're going to remove Touch ID or something like that. It'll be a big controversial thing. It won't have the fingerprint reader anymore. Something big like that. But honestly, the feature that I'm most looking forward to that is actually going to change the way I use my smartphone, the waterproofing. I know everyone's like, that's not a big deal. But to me, it's like, I want to be able to use my phone in the shower. When I go in there, it would be cool to, like, you know, still be able to read Twitter and do stuff. I would love to take my phone into the pool with me, because I could do that with the Galaxy S8. It took great video. It's really cool to have 4K video underwater. And I love just having my phone on me and not having to worry about it getting wet. And they're saying that with this iPhone release, it's going to be IP68 water resistance. It'll be just as waterproof as your Apple Watch. Maybe not 50 meters deep, but more like 15 or something. So it'll be like mildly waterproof. So I'm excited for that. That's going to change the way I use my phone, because everyone talks about OLED. They all talk about how cool it is that there won't be a home button. Honestly, you're going to get used to that in a month, and you're not going to notice the differences. It just looks different, and people get excited, but that's the thing about aesthetics, is they only get you excited for a good 2 weeks or so. Anyway, 7Durka donate again $50. My goodness, says, do you think if Apple can figure out how to put Touch ID into a screen, do you think it will be put into the Apple Watch, where you can just put your finger on the Apple Watch to unlock it? I sure hope so. I think at the very beginning of the year, my first video of 2017 was thoughts on the Apple Watch Series 3. I think that was an idea I had for it, was that we could embed Touch ID underneath the display. To answer your question, yes, if they do figure that out, you can expect that to be added to... oh, you're right, I gotta chug. Good point, Ryan. I'll chug this now. I'll answer your question, then I'll chug because we got the donation. They're going to bring that to the iPad. They're going to bring that maybe to the MacBook. Yeah, because the touch bar is actually separate from the fingerprint reader. So if they actually could embed Touch ID into a display, they would embed it into the touch bar itself and not have it be a separate button. Yeah, they bring it to the iPads, the iPhones, the Apple Watch. You know, why can't we add the... Well, that'd be kind of stupid. I was going to say, like, you could add Touch ID to the Apple TV remote, but we don't have passcodes on our Apple TV, so that's dumb. Maybe if there's, like, you had it on child mode, and when kids aren't in the room, you want to unlock it, so you have a Touch ID. I don't know, something like that. But yes, to answer your question, yes, they would do that. It wouldn't be very fast, because the iPad's upgrades are always very delayed compared to the iPhones. I don't know when we're going to see an iPad without a physical home button, but it might not be till next year or the year after. They tend to just be slower in that lineup, but anyway. Okay. Gotta chug this. You did this, Durka. Okay. Oh. I can't do it. It's too thick. I can't. Oh. That's so tricky. You can't, like, it's not like water. Okay, let me try again. Thank you. Thank you, Alex. That's it. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm trying to chug the whole thing. I can't do it. Oh. This thing, it's like swallowing mud. Okay. I don't want to throw up on stream. Oh God. Okay, that's enough of that. Now I gotta drink this weird stuff. This I could actually chug. This is water with essential oils. It's supposed to make my throat feel better. Oh God. Don't spill on your MacBook. That's a priority. Yeah, I won't. I'd hold it up here. All right. You got any actual questions? Thank you for reading this comment. Have a great day. I don't know why you don't have 3 million subscribers. Daniel, I know. It's because this channel's tiny. And I don't have a lot of money. So I can't afford to review big products. That's why. Oh. Would you buy LumaFusion for the MacBook? Is that a thing? If it doesn't exist, then no. I'll stick with Final Cut. But if it was more optimized than the... God. Oh. Still, I'm trying to get by that. It's gone. Just Get over it, Drew. Okay. I heard some people saying that all Apple products will use USB-C as a charging port, headphone jack, etc. Any thoughts? Doesn't feel like it. It feels like they're going to keep Lightning until they remove ports. I think that's more likely at this point, Clone Productions. I think it's more likely that Apple is going to keep Lightning all the way till next year or the year after, and that's when they're going to start removing the last port. And it'll be wireless charging only, all wireless headphones. They'll include AirPods with the purchase. Okay. Apple seems to be wary, but it does seem like they are contemplating turning Apple TV into a console-Roku hybrid. Do you see Apple releasing an Apple-designed gamepad for Apple TV? I don't see that happening, but I would love it to. I think I talked about that in some of my what the Apple TV could be. I think they've designed a beautiful operating system and interface. The problem is it's limited by that stupid A8 chip. You know, the HomePod is going to have the same chip as an Apple TV. I think that's a sign that it's messed up. We should put the A10X chip in Apple TV or the A11 chip and make it output at 4K with USB-C. Is there lag? I'm sorry, guys. I have nothing to do about it. Yes, I'm on Instagram. Just look up Tailosive Tech. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, guys. You can just look it up. I'm right there. How much smaller and efficient can the processors in the iPhone and Apple Watch get? Infinite. There's no stopping how small and how fast computers can get. If you've looked at how technology has changed in the past 100 years, there's no limit. You know, we could have 8,000 petabytes in our watches in 100 years, for all we know. No, Snapchat sucks. I hate Snapchat. We're not going on Snapchat. What would the new AirPods include? Would there be new AirPods or the same model? There's currently no leaks or rumors confirming that new AirPods are coming out, but all I can hope for is that AirPods come out in different colors. We could actually get an official Apple black pair of black pods. That would be amazing. And I'd want them to be included in the iPhone edition. I saw that leak, and I'm really, really hoping that actually happens. Yeah, Snapchat. Okay, here's my little mini rant on Snapchat. The problem with Snapchat is the whole beautiful thing about digital media is that it's so easy to capture your memories. You can just take a picture, it's done. It's uploaded to a cloud, it's on your phone, it's beautiful quality, and you can look at it for years to come. Snapchat is all about forgetting anything happened. It's all about sending a picture and then forgetting about it 24 hours later. And I hate that because I don't like social media sites that don't let you remember things. I love that about Facebook. You know, you can pop up and see what you posted 7 years ago. That brings back memories. That's the great thing about taking a picture, is that so that you can look at it later. And social media should be a great way to record history so that, you know, you guys can watch my videos and then watch them years down the road and be like, oh, he was right about that, or oh, he was wrong about that. That's the beautiful thing. Snapchat prevents any of that of happening, and Snapchat encourages a bunch of people to say things and do things that they hope they forget. I'm not going to talk about it specifically, but I think I know what I think you know what I'm talking about. Snapchat encourages people to do things they forget. It's like it's the drunk version of social media. It's like getting hungover. Will the Apple Watch Series 3 edition be made of? Gold and ceramic were previous editions. What's the new model? Oh, Barney Barnes, that's a good question. I've thought about that too. I thought, what if they made it out of the same material the screen is made out of? Like, Gorilla Glass is getting better and better. So what if we had Gorilla Glass 5 just be the entire watch itself, and there's no actual seam between the glass display and the Apple Watch? Or no, not Gorilla Glass 5. Sorry, Sapphire. The entire watch is sapphire, like even the edges. That would be extremely expensive, but it would be fairly durable, and I think it would be really cool to see a watch where the glass and the unibody, they don't have a seam. It's the same material all the way around. I thought that'd be cool, but I don't know what it'll be. It'll probably be ceramic or stainless steel to match your Apple Watch edition, something like that. Facebook just hit 2 billion active users, I read this morning. I don't want to drink this. It smells like a diaper. Do you think the future iPhone after edition will use USB-C or just remove everything and make a glass sandwich? Please respond. You are the best. Thank you. I'm not the best, but I don't think, personally, I used to think that Apple needed to switch everything to USB-C to match the MacBooks, but honestly, I don't think they're interested in that anymore. I think that if they wanted USB-C, they would have switched by now, and the fact that they're not on the next iPhone is proof that this might be the last iPhone that has a port. I know that sounds ridiculous, and I know that sounds crazy that people would Apple would actually release a phone without ports, because to Android people that sounds completely insane. But honestly, I do think that on the true iPhone 8, the iPhone that comes out in 2018, I think they won't have ports, or that phone will be the last one. I think we're very close. We're very, very close to the last port on an iPhone, and they feel like changing the port to USB-C at the last second is unnecessary, because you're gonna be getting rid of it soon. So having all these cables is gonna be ridiculous. So they're gonna have to start releasing wireless charging pads that plug into, that have a lightning port on them. So it's like your iPhone 8 adapter, as in you have a little charging pad, it plugs into your lightning cable. Now it's a wireless charger. That would be great. In fact, they should do that for the Apple Watch. Why can't we have a circle charger with a lightning plug in it, and you just plug in your lightning charger, and then it charges your Apple Watch. And then wireless charging will be the only way to charge the phone. That's something Apple would do. It totally sounds like them. Thinking about starting a tech channel, how should I start? How do you balance a channel with other things that go on in life? How do you do it on a low budget? Please respond. Okay, Christian Torres, here's my suggestions. I think you could run a channel on an iPhone alone. It'd be really tricky, but I think it's possible. But I would recommend, first of all, you got to start saving your money. You need a job. You need an income from something else. You need to, and it doesn't have to be official. You may be too young to work, but when I was young and I needed to make money, I mowed lawns around town. Like, I would go up to people's houses who had messy lawns and say, hello, I'd like to mow your lawn. And I would tell my parents to tell others. They would tell their friends, if you need yard work done, Drew has a weed whacker. He will mow your lawn for you. And they would even take me there sometimes to mow before I had a driver's license. I was driving when I was 16. So by the time I was 16, I could drive myself in the lawnmower, and I would just mow lawns around town. That's not like, I know I couldn't work at McDonald's or Taco Bell, but it was something. It was an income. So you have a way to support yourself, because it's really hard for a tech channel to do anything without money. I know channels out there will tell you, you know, I have $60,000 cameras, but it's not all about that. You can just review tech you have. It's like, yeah, but no one's going to care about your opinion on a Apple keyboard you have in your house. No one's going to watch that video. Sometimes you just need to talk about what everyone else is. You need to talk about latest leaks and rumors. That's how I got where I am. And oftentimes, yeah, you probably need to review products that are coming out. So, bottom line, you need to have an income. The first investments I would make if I was very young and I was starting this over again is I'd first of all make sure I had an iPhone with a pretty decent camera, 1080p at least. I would want, for editing, I would try to save up for a 2017 iPad, not a Pro, just an iPad, because that's nice and cheap, $330. And that thing would run iOS 11, and I would install LumaFusion on it. It's a $20 app, but it gives you plenty of editing options. You can make pretty professional things in LumaFusion, and I think you could also get over a photo editing app, because video thumbnails are very important. No one's going to watch your video if it's just a screenshot from the video itself. They want a professional looking thumbnail to actually get clicks. Look, this comment says, he still doesn't reply to me ever. I have commented 1,000 times. Just did. It's very hard when there's 200 people watching. I don't know how many people are watching. It doesn't say that. Thanks, YouTube. But I would recommend having an iPhone SE, a 2017 iPad. That's a 4K camera. That's a great camera, and that's an iPad with LumaFusion that would edit very well. And you can even upload your videos directly from your iPad. It's doable. You can directly from LumaFusion, you can upload your YouTube videos. So that's how I'd recommend people to start. See, yeah, when there's 260 people watching a live stream and they're all trying to comment something, I can't read every comment. Okay, I'm very sorry if I can't read you, but here you are. I see you. Please reply. Only have money to buy either of these, MacBook Air or iPhone 7. I have an iPad 3 and an iPhone 5C and a horrible Windows laptop. Which will be the most satisfying upgrade? iPhone 7. iPhone is the core of your Apple ecosystem. Get the iPhone. The more the channel grows, the more maniac the chat gets. Yeah, I'm scared of a day where I might have to activate sponsor-only mode. But you know, it was really a taste of that when I did, when we did the WWDC live stream. There were 2,100 people, I think, watching at one point. That was the highest. And as this channel grows, that's only going to get worse. And if the channel becomes so large that, like, every live stream has 2,100 people watching, I tried looking at the chat during that stream. It was crazy. Like, it wasn't even... It was impossible to read comments. It was becoming so difficult to read, like, even super chats, because people were donating, which I, again, appreciate, and I think that's great that you're making your comments stand out, but there were so many comments going on that I couldn't read them all. Like, not just I couldn't read them all because they're moving so fast, but I couldn't read them all because they would be at the top out of the window by the time I started the comment. The comment section was literally like... And I kind of hate live streams that had slow mode, because everyone can only write so much, but the super chat rules is that any super chat is welcome. But if we had, like, if the channel was so big that every day we got 3,000 people watching the live stream, it would be really difficult to read any kind of comments, because the other thing about more popular live streams is that's what attracts more trolls. That's when everyone's going to start writing the most offensive thing possible in the chat and then copy and paste it over and over again. We already have these problems, and we're a tiny channel. You know, tiny, pretty tiny. We have mods here, but even with the 5 to 6 mods I have, they wouldn't be able to stop all of them. They'd try to post swastikas every 10 seconds. I might... at some point just have to activate sponsor mode if that becomes a problem, which I'm worried about. But there will always be other channels that you can watch and interact with us on a more personal level. Hopefully for a while, you know, eventually if those channels grow. You guys, by the way, we don't necessarily know when Tailosive Gaming is going to have content again, so I apologize if I shouted that out before and you guys aren't going to get anything on that now. I apologize. If you want to unsubscribe from that channel, it's fine. I understand. We're not sure if there's going to be much on that at all now because of backstage drama at Tailosive. But what you guys should definitely check out is Tailosive movie reviews, where I am on there occasionally. Luckily, I've hired an editor to start making more of my tech videos, so I'm really excited to start actually making my own movie reviews. But right now, my good friend Dan, the movie man, is over at Tailosive Movie Reviews. He's making 5 to 6 videos a week. It's a very popular channel. Not popular, sorry. It's a very active channel. It's getting videos all the time. He's not the best editor yet. He's still learning a lot, but he would appreciate your feedback. And you guys should just subscribe to it because it's a very small channel right now. And I have a lot of opinions on movies and TV shows, and we talk about them on there. So there's more to life than just technology. How do you become a sponsor? Well, there's not a way yet, but on YouTube there's ways where for live streaming you can make it so that only sponsors can type in the chat. People like PewDiePie, who are huge, have to do that because, you know, if PewDiePie didn't have sponsor mode, there are like 40,000 people watching his live stream at once. The chat would be insanity. It would be impossible to read. So that's why he has sponsor only mode. Yeah, it'd be great if the Apple Watch had Touch ID on the screen. Yeah, I'd want that. That'd be great. Do you think Apple release a 17-inch MacBook Pro maybe for gaming? I doubt it. I think Apple thought the 17-inch MacBook Pro was too big, so they're not interested in changing it. However, just got this idea. If Apple is interested in removing bezels, they could totally stretch the screen to go further down to the corners and actually make the MacBook have rounded edges, just like the iPhone edition will. And you could probably have a lot bigger than 15-inch displays on a form factor that is the exact same as this. So that could happen. Will Apple make a curved iMac? I don't think so. I think the iMac Pro is the most advanced iMac you're going to be seeing for a while. 4K videos. Wouldn't that help the channel gain subs and views? You may think so, but I don't. I used to film my videos in 4K, and the thing is, people don't notice because actually, I think it's 60% of all YouTube videos are watched on a smartphone or tablet, which don't notice 4K at all. But what they do notice is 60 frames a second, which is what I film at. And usually when people click on my videos or tap on them, they notice the frame rate. They're like, oh, hey, it's a little smoother. It's kind of nice. It's like a noticeable change. If I film my videos in 4K, no one's going to notice that, because very few people actually have a 4K monitor. Very few people have internet that can support 4K playback, so I don't think so. So I'm going to be wrapping it up here, guys. I'm going to go to the post office to hopefully open up my P.O. box today, and if I do get to open it, I will tweet out the address and have you guys send me stuff. But keep in mind, it's got to be small. It's the biggest box possible, and I don't know if I'll have the money for the biggest one. Is only about 1 foot by 2 feet. So if you have any last donations, any last questions, now's the time. Is Apple moving out and abandoning their current headquarters and moving into Apple Campus? Or is it Apple Campus in addition to their current facilities? No, I don't think it's addition. I think they're moving out of their original headquarters. They're going to rent that out or turn it into something else, but I don't think the original Apple headquarters will be part of Apple anymore. I don't know, actually. I don't read about that. How long do you think it will be until Apple only uses its in-house processors in all their products? Ryan Button asks. It's a good question, especially because the A10X chip is faster than a lot of the 12-inch MacBooks. Pretty soon. I'd say sometime in the 2020s, because I know we have like a laid out chart Mac Rumors has that shows all the different kinds of processors we're going to be using in MacBooks until like 2019. Like we already have a big list of all the processors they're going to adapt to. So at least 2020. So yeah, I don't know, 2022, that's my guess, when they start putting just their own chips in there. Nikolaj Hansen Turton says, hope SN Sonos supports AirPlay 2, so both HomePod and Sonos work together with HomeKit. Also, Apple needs to fix family share on HomePod, fix family share so HomePod can work with, geez, the chat is crazy right now. We'll work with MyFam. Okay, yeah, no, I guess you. Sonos needs to work with the HomePod. I think they will. Apple's worked with Sonos in the past, so yeah. No, I definitely hope they will. I don't have any Sonos speakers myself, but you can expect me. I will buy the HomePod. I'm going to review it. Don't worry about that. Oh, okay. Apple is keeping the original headquarters. We have that now. We now have that information. Apple Watch, when will get a podcast audiobook? I don't know. When they're really desperate, I guess. There's not a lot of people who just listen to stuff on the Apple Watch, so I wouldn't count on it too much, but yeah, not too long. Correct. No, you deleted someone who said, I don't know anything. That's true. What do I know? I just sit here. I don't know anything, but 31,000 people tend to care about what I have to say. It doesn't mean I know anything, but I mean, look at TechRax. He doesn't know anything. Look how many subscribers he has. Anyway, perfectly good burn to end the live stream on. Thank you guys for watching. And sadly, because I'm so busy, I'm not going to have an edited video up today. There's no tech video up today, so this live stream is what you get, sadly. But keep in mind, there will be more tech videos tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that. And the entire week I'm gone. And of course, I'm going to be vlogging my trip to San Diego when I am down there at my family reunion. So you guys should subscribe to Tailosive Talks, because that's where my vlogs and Hello World episodes are. That's great insight on starting your own YouTube channel, doing whatever. You guys should check out that channel, as well as Tailosive movie reviews, please. It's our smallest channel, but it's getting a lot of content. He's getting better at editing. Please support Dan the Movie Man. I'm on there. I'm going to be on there more, and I'm on there already occasionally. So please subscribe to those two channels today. And this is your Apple Sheep here. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks, everyone. Take care.